Welcome everybody, Steve here. Well, if you recognize this tailgate, it's off my 71 Chevy. And, you know, I've asked so many people, should I paint it? Because this is original paint, and I thought, it'd be kind of cool just to leave it original, but everybody says better paint it. So, we're going to paint it. And that's okay, it's in pretty good shape, there's still got some dents. We got a pretty good one right there, looks like they backed into something. And I got a couple, like it's just a little bit of a whoop-de-doo here. Goes from about here to about there. So we got to lift everything up. What I really want to do is make sure, or try and avoid doing any body work, where the lettering is. That wouldn't be very much fun at all. But for the most part, it's in pretty good shape. Underneath, it's okay. We're gonna make it look pretty as well. And still gonna stick with all the chrome. So I may end up, getting another piece of chrome, or two pieces. I got a new piece that goes down over here. Actually, an original piece. And no rust holes. That looks pretty good. Nothing on the bottom. So this is a great tailgate. Hard to find a good original tailgate. Those the ones that you buy, the new ones, they're a little light. And if I can avoid new stuff, I avoid it. All right, I'm just gonna finish taking off this chrome. Maybe do a little strip in here. See if we can pull these out. And mark this one. Using the nail method, I just had some 1/4-inch rod. I just welded a nut on there. Works out good. All right. I keep them long because when I cut the bottoms off, then they just keep getting shorter. So. Look all right, I think. So we got these pulled, and it took, you know, just wasn't one nail you welded on. You know, you had to do quite a bit of work to get that out because this metal is so darn thick. But it worked out good, and I was able to do it without hurting any of the letters, which is really key because you don't want to do body work on your letters. That's not much fun at all. But first thing we're going to do is do the body work on the backside. So I'm not too sure what I want to do here yet. I might just sandblast it so that I don't have to sit there and grind all day on it. But first thing we got to do is we got a couple dents up here. We got to pull these dents. Then I can sandblast them. Make sure I get my chrome on the rubber pad here. Alright, what do we got? That looks like a spot weld. No dent right there. So for the inside of a tailgate, you know, this one here is just really not that bad. Over the years, a lot of stuff gets dropped on these things, let me tell you. But there's still the odd dent, and we just got to take care of those things. That's about it. There's one there. Down here. So these dents are pulling pretty easy. You know, nothing's really tough. You know, they're not, you know, completely damaged up. But, you know, this method here, it's about all I can do. Like, you know, this metal being so thick, I don't know of another way of doing it. I often thought that if I was working on the other side, I could drill a hole and you could just pound it out. But you have a lot more control with a nail than you do with a hammer and a bar, trust me. You can watch it just pop right up. Yeah, see, that's pretty good. One more right there and then that one will be good. Okay, get my welder hooked up. Just have to plug it in. Not plug it in, but start it. Well, we got the dents pulled, and everything worked out pretty good. Dingle ball right there. There we go. But started to rain outside, So I can't take this out and sandblast it. That'll be tomorrow's job. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow. So then once I get it sandblasted, then I can start doing the body work on the inside. You always want to do the inside first. That's my policy anyway. Okay, see you tomorrow. We got a nice morning going on here, so I'm going to sandblast the inside of my tailgate and probably in here. I'm going to see how it comes off. I'm not too sure. This is original paint. And then once that's done, then we can start the body work on here. I probably won't sandblast too much on the front. We'll see how it comes off, but I might sandblast in here just to make the sanding a little easier. Yeah, looking good. So sandblasting went really good. I tell you what, that paint just come flying off of there. So now it's time to skim everything. Make sure that everything is nice and straightish. These tailgates, they get beat up pretty bad, so don't just assume that, you know, it looks kind of nice, but chances are there's a dent. So we're gonna skim her. So I'm just stroking it with some 40 grit first, and then I'll finish it off with some 80. I might give it a little bit of guide coat so I can see what I'm doing, see the scratches. But yeah, this is going to take some time. Do little bits at a time because, man, you know, you get too much and it just starts to overwhelm a little bit. When you're in a tight spot, and let's say you don't have a file, don't put her on too thick. It's easier to go with a couple coats than it is just one. But so far I can get in and do my filing, so it's not too bad. Okay, where do I want to go? Get this done. close to being done on the back side here. Looking good. Okay, I'm gonna sandblast this. Of course I'll get the letters, but you just gotta be careful. You don't want to warp nothing. So, just gonna take it easy with the sandblaster, and then I can get going on the bodywork. Bodywork's done on the other side. Looks really good. Can't wait to put some primer on it. Okay, I'm gonna get rigged up and then I'm gonna put you way over there because I got sand in my camera the last time I sandblasted. Getting a start on the body filler here. Now I'm trying to be very careful here not to get too much in and around the letters. If you've ever done a tailgate, it's tough to sand in there. It's not much fun at all, so avoid it. And if it was, let's say I did have a tailgate that was really damaged in the letters, I would consider not using it because that was just way too much to repair. And this is a nice thing about sandblasting. That's going to be my mechanical bond there, and it's okay. If you're grinding away and you slip and catch an edge or something like that on one of your letters, you're really going to be cursing yourself. So it's okay to use a sandblaster. And I had to let my tailgate cool down a little bit. It was in the sun after I sandblasted it, and it's just going to get way too hot, or it got way too hot. And the last thing I want to do is run around in circles. The filler that just sets up that fast. It's bad enough as it is. Some guys like their fillers to dry quick. For the most part, you do. But when you're working on something like this, it's not much fun at all. Well, you don't want to stand around all day either. I think that looks pretty good. Now, one of the saving graces here is this whole strip right here. It's going to be white. So, your bodywork doesn't have, that's an excuse. You still see it in white, you just don't see it from a distance. But I'm going to make it look good. Paint or black, I'm okay with that. Well, we're moving along here good. Yeah, this went a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. And I've got a couple little spots that were a little bit low, so I just have to tune those up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I want to coat everything with a 2-part putty, because I want the bodywork to be spot on, because I'm going to put 2 coats of feather fill, and then I just want to go directly to paint. So I don't want to mess around too much with having to do repairs after you do, you know, your priming. So that's my thinking anyway. But we gotta get the bodywork done first. And it's not gonna take too long. Kind of working on a couple things at the same time. Got the Bronco work, I'm working on that at the same time. Just feels good to be working on some of your own stuff. You know, when you think your tailgate's nice, but then when you skim it, if you look at it, there's quite a bit of filler in there. So it's never perfect. It's never what you think it is. Lots of people come to me and say, "Oh, my vehicle is just, you know, you don't have to do any body work to it. It's all good." Never works out like that. You know, you watch those fancy shows on TV, those car shows, and you know, they'll take a brand new car and skim it because it's just not perfect enough. Now a really thin coat of 2-part putty. I'm going to try and work as fast as I can to get as much real estate done before this starts setting up. Working in between all these letters is a little tough. We'll get her. What I did, okay, so I ended right here. I got a little bit to do here, and then of course up top. But I just give it a real light stroke with some 40 grit first, just to knock down the high spots. And now I'll just block it out with some 80 grit. And that should get her. I think that's gonna be good enough. Yep, we're good. Okay, one more thing I want to do. Just grab my tape. I am going to tape this stuff up in here. I do not want to get any primer in here, simply because then you got to sand it. You just give it a little bit of a sand because of the, you know, the sandblast. You know, that's not a big deal. But sanding it when there's feather fill in there, that is not going to be fun. So we'll just plug it up. You know, it's not going to be 100%, but it'll help. It'll help.
Two coats of epoxy. Alright, I got my hose hooked up here, just hold on.
Feather fill is nice and dry. It's all set up. So now, hopefully, I'm going to just go from sanding to painting. And if I have to do a little bit of a, you know, a little spot prime or, you know, fix a little, well, there's going to be a couple pinholes for sure. But other than that, it looks really, really good. So, next step, of course, we're going to sand this down, give it a paint job, install it on the truck. So until next time, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.